Well, welcome everyone to the People's House. At this time, I'll ask Beth Davis, our city clerk, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Pam Smithroyd.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Maglinger.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mark Castlin.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here.
Thank you. We have one proclamation tonight. Oh, excuse me. I've already skipped over the most important thing to do. At this time, I'd like for you to stand, if you're able, for the invocation and the pledge from Mayor Pro Tem Mark Castlin.
Let us bow our heads and pray. Dear Lord, we ask that you guide us throughout this night. We ask that you give us wisdom, patience, and understanding on all the issues that will be presented before us this evening. We ask that we all respect one another throughout this meeting and that we all always show courtesy. We also ask that you watch over our first responders and also our soldiers that protect our freedoms throughout this day. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're all set. You're all set.
The next item on the agenda is Heather Yiser here?
I am.
Kommen Sie her. You can bring all your people. It's only $1 more each. Don't worry about it. Some can get over here. Heather, why don't you? Okay, that's good. All right, this is a proclamation from the city of Owensboro. Whereas service is a hallmark of the American character and has a unique ability to bring people of all backgrounds together in common cause. And whereas AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps Seniors Program provide opportunities for more than 200,000 Americans to serve their community and country through service at nonprofits, schools, public agencies, and community faith-based groups across the country. Whereas in Kentucky, more than 5,100 AmeriCorps members and AmeriCorps seniors volunteer of diverse ages and backgrounds help to meet local needs at more than 800 locations across the Commonwealth by responding to COVID-19, tutoring, or mentoring children and youth, supporting veterans and military families, combating the opioid epidemic, restoring the environment, and responding to disasters. What don't you do? Whereas AmeriCorps Week is an opportunity to recognize the dedication and commitment of the more than 1.2 million Americans who have chosen to serve their country through the AmeriCorps, and millions more who have served in AmeriCorps, seniors and their community partners, and to encourage more Americans to follow their footsteps in service. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, the mayor of the city of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim March 12th through the 18th, 2023, as the AmeriCorps Week in Owensboro, and urge citizens to thank AmeriCorps members and alumni and AmeriCorps senior volunteers for their service and find their own ways to give back to their community. Sign and seal this 21st day of March, 2023.
Thank you. Thank you.
And whoever wants to speak, welcome to speak.
I just want to thank I just want to thank Susie and Cindy for being here on behalf of AmeriCorps seniors to accept this proclamation. I thank them and all AmeriCorps seniors for their service. And Audubon area, thanks you very much.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is consider approval of minutes dated March 7 and March 14, 2023. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, Citizen Advisory Committee on Community Development. Appoint Titus Willis, effective March 21st, 2023. I'll make a motion to approve these. Could I have this one? Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, ordinances, second reading. This will be a roll call vote. Ms. Davis.
Ordinance 7-2023. An ordinance amending section 26-82 of Article 4 of Chapter 26 of the Owensboro Municipal Code entitled Electric Utility, and approving and adopting rates for electric service furnished by the City Utility Commission of the City of Owensboro, Kentucky. Read for approval on second reading this 21st day of March, 2023.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please? Second. Thank you. City Manager, would you like to discuss this?
Mayor was discussed at our last meeting very thoroughly by our friends at OMU, so happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions? Hearing none, okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Ms. Davis?
Commissioner Smithwright,
Aye.
Commissioner Maglinger,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Caslin,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item 6B, Ms. Davis.
Ordinance 8-2023, an ordinance establishing the compensation of city employees and non-elected city officers in accordance with the Personnel and Pay Classification Plan as required by KRS 83A.070, and adopting the revised pay grade and range structures. Read for approval on second reading this 21st day of March, 2023.
Thank you. City Manager? I make a motion? Make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any more discussion? City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. We've discussed this multiple times, including in great detail at a recent work session, but just in summary, this is second reading of an ordinance adopting new city pay charts that were developed as part of the compensation study that we undertook last year. If approved following this second reading, the new charts will be effective June 1st, allowing adequate time to migrate all employees to the new charts.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mayor.
Commissioner Smithwright?
I just wanted to say how glad I am that we're doing this, because we need to keep our employees, and this brings them in line with other positions, and so we need to do this so that we can retain them.
Any other discussions? Commissioner Glenn?
I just also want to thank Josh Bachmeyer and our city manager and other employees who were involved going around and sharing the information with all our employees. I know that was a big task, and I think they appreciated the face-to-face encounters to get their questions answered and everything else. So thank you for all the hard work you and Josh did.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Maglinger,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Caslin,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda, 6C, Ms. Davis.
Ordinance 9-2023, an ordinance amending Chapter 16, Article 11, Section 16-278 of the Owensboro Municipal Code to allow for smoking in certain limited public places where air purification technology is utilized in segregated areas. read for approval on second reading this 21st day of March 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. Second for discussion. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. In March of last year, it was announced that Ellis Entertainment would renovate the former J.C. Penney location at Town Square Mall for a facility offering historic horse racing machines. As was subsequently announced, ownership of the project was acquired by Churchill Downs. During their development of the project, Churchill officials contacted the city and expressed concern about the negative impact the city's smoking ban would have on the project. Churchill explained that they believe the ability to smoke at the facility is integral to its success. We began negotiating with Churchill Downs about potential changes to the smoking ban, and this item for your consideration is the result of those discussions. So this is second reading of an ordinance amending the existing smoking ban to allow smoking in a limited scale for projects meeting established or listed criteria. Those criteria include the following. The project or site must have over 50,000 square feet of space and a capital investment of at least $30 million. Smoking is only allowed in a limited portion of the space, not to exceed 15% of space accessible to the public. Smoking area must be partitioned with a full wall and vestibule and 2 sets of doors between the non-smoking and smoking areas. Further, a separate air purification system is required. And finally, the location must only allow patrons over the age of 18, or 18 and over, excuse me.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the dais? How about the public? Anybody want to weigh in, Jim?
I'll stay seated if that's okay.
You got it.
Could I start by asking for any of the physicians, nurses, and other healthcare personnel to stand? I'd like for you to recognize who is here tonight to show a unified opposition to amending or weakening our city's policies against smoking. Do you not know that where Kentucky stands in terms of tobacco use relative to the other states in the nation? I think the fact that we're even considering weakening policies that have been fought for is not the right thing to do. And there are a number of others here who have some different talking points that they may choose to share if you would allow.
We'll take a couple more.
Okay. Everyone can be seated. Thank you.
Hello, Alan Mullins, Tom, and the rest of the commissioners. Nice to see you. I would like to also oppose this ordinance or amendment to the ordinance. We all know, I think, about the health consequences of cigarette smoking. It's been known for 70 years. That's why the ordinance from 2014 came in. We know about lung cancer, throat cancer, heart attacks, strokes. So the question is, why would we want to do this now? And I don't think there's much rationale for it. If you look at Churchill Downs, they don't allow smoking in Jefferson County. If you go to Churchill Downs, which I frequent, you can't smoke inside the facility. They have a gaming facility like this one, River City Gaming, for the historical horse racing slot machines. You can't smoke there. You can't smoke at Keeneland Racetrack. This was tried by Churchill Downs because Louisville had a smoking ban in public places long before Davis County did. And Churchill Downs requested their elected officials for an exemption, and they, like you all, they said, well, that's a good idea. Churchill Downs is important to the economy. Thoroughbred horse racing is part and parcel of Kentucky. Let's carve out an exemption for them. So what happened? Other entities filed suit against it because, like the health care practitioners here, they thought it was and knew it was obviously a bad idea. So it went to the Kentucky Court of Appeals, and I can't say it any better than Judge Winnie said in his opinion, or his order, which denied the exemption. There appears to be no valid reason to exempt these businesses from a law which is designed to protect the health of the public and employees. That was in July of '07. In October of '07, Jefferson County Circuit Court ruled it unconstitutional in violation of the Equal Protections Clause of the Kentucky Constitution. You can't have, you can smoke okay over here, but in my business, no, I can't. So you're opening a giant can of worms for yourself, and I think Churchill Downs is trying to pull one over on you because they know that it really shouldn't fly. Like I said, they've tried it before, and there's lots of other economic arguments some other people have. It doesn't affect nationwide. Data shows it does not affect the success of casino gambling. 9 out of 10 Kentuckians who smoke want to quit smoking. That came out within the last 30 days of study. 90% of them want to quit. So do we really want to promote smoking when we know what the public health consequences are? It's just, it doesn't make any sense, guys.
Thanks, Dr. Mullins. I
ladies.
appreciate it. Okay, I'll make a motion to postpone ordinance 09-2023 indefinitely. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
We will have a roll call vote.
Mayor Watson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Caslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn?
Yes.
Commissioner Smithroyd?
Aye.
Commissioner Macklinger?
Yes.
Thank you. By unanimous vote, ordinance 99.2023 is postponed indefinitely. Okay. We go to 7. Item 7 on the agenda, no first readings. Item 8, municipal order.
Municipal Order 16-2023, a municipal order repealing in its entirety Municipal Order 15-2023, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a First Amendment to agreement between the City of Owensboro and Ellis Entertainment, LLC, read for approval on one reading this 21st day of March, 2023.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve this municipal order. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City manager?
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, this municipal order is related to the smoking ordinance that was postponed just momentarily ago. So because this is a companion piece to that item, I recommend this item be postponed as well.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by, whoop. All right, I'll make a motion to postpone the municipal order 1623 indefinitely. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries by unanimous vote. Municipal order 16-2023 is postponed indefinitely. Okay. 9. City manager items.
Thank you, Mayor. First, Director of Finance and Support Services, Angela Waninger, will present the February financial report.
Yes, hi, Mayor and Commission and viewing audience. I'm here to give you a PowerPoint presentation, and it'll be on the general fund activity for the month of and the 8 months ended February. You may refer to page 3 of your financial packet to the Commission for more detail. So for the first slide, for the month of February 2023, our actual revenues of $5,007,741. They were higher than budgeted revenues of $4,900,416, resulting in a variance of $107,325. This variance is primarily due to timing in various revenue accounts, such as occupational tax, transfers in from other funds, in the CDBG, offset by lower property taxes due to distribution for TIF revenues. Our next slide is for the 8 months ended February 2023 for the general fund year-to-date revenues of $48,300,979 were higher than budgeted revenues of $46,357,419 for a variance of $1,943,560. This variance is primarily due to higher property tax, occupational withholding, net profit, insurance license fees, and higher interest income. Pretty much higher in all our revenue categories. So it's safe to say that the city's doing really quite well right now. So for our next slide, this is expenditures for the month of February. Expenditures were $4,798,457. This was less than budgeted expenditures of $4,998,007 for a variance of $199,550. This variance is primarily due to timing in debt service and supply purchases and savings in personnel due to vacancies. The next slide is general fund expenditures. For the 8 months ended February, expenditures were $42,729,810, which were less than budgeted expenditures of $45,694,480 for a variance of $2,964,670. This variance is primarily due to timing and supply purchases, outside services, contribution to OMU, capital expenditures, and to savings in personnel. And I would just point out that the savings in personnel year-to-date is $558,893. For our last slide, as you can see by the bar graph here, the city's monthly revenues and expenses are cyclical by month. As you can see just how cyclical they are and can be in 8 months. This is the nature of the finances at the city. Expenses, as depicted by the red bar, typically outpace revenues in the warmer months when outdoor activities are in full swing. Likewise, we have months where revenues, as depicted by the green bar, outpace expenditures, such as in the months of October and November, due to property tax collection. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'll make have I done that yet? Make a motion to file report for audit. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. City manager comments?
No comments tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Comments from elected officials? Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Just one, Mayor, I wanted to remind everyone about the Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day on Thursday at the airport at 11 o'clock.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Is that it, Pam?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Commissioner Magdalene.
Thank you. Last weekend, the Bluegrass Museum had the Great American Bluegrass Jam that was a great success. They brought in people from all over the country, and I want to commend the Bluegrass Museum for all the events they're bringing in, and it really makes us proud to be bluegrass capital of the world. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Castler.
Thank you, Mayor. Gosh, it's been a busy past 10 days or so since our last meeting. Anyway, I went to the pickleball tournament that they had over at the tennis center, and we had somewhere around 370 players that showed up there from over 9 states. Our pickleball community is really knocking it out of the park as far as staying busy and keeping people active, and want to congratulate them on that. Also went to the Beverly's Hearty Slice, and want to thank Travis Owsley for all he does for the community and for the community that supports him. It's so many people that contribute to him and to help the hungry and the needy. And also went to DeMarcus Curry had a teen job fair over at the library, and had over 200 teens showed up to apply for jobs. We had 10 different people hiring, and it's a nice big crowd there. Also want to thank DeMarcus for all he does for the community. And last but not least, I went to trivia night at the Brew Bridge. Thank you, Mayor and the city, for purchasing a table for the fundraiser for the center. There was a nice crowd there. We did not bring home the gold, but, you know, our wisdom wasn't there that night.
Did you answer one question?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Just check.
A couple of them, actually.
Last year when we went, we couldn't even answer the city's questions. Okay.
I think
You
we're
finished?
fifth out of about 7.
Commissioner Glenn.
Wanted to congratulate those who organized Burger Week. I think it is a mathematical impossibility to eat 38 burgers in 9 days, and I did not, but I did try 10. My wife went with me. We had a really good time. Thought everybody that we sampled was excellent. I want to congratulate Windy Hollow Biscuit House for being the overall winner of that. That's quite an accomplishment. And then finally, again, we want to, again, just give great credit to the Owensboro Orchestra, just the tremendous work that they do, along with Owensboro Dance Theater that had their Descendants program this weekend, and I understand it went very well. So we're very lucky for a community our size to have such incredible resources in our community, such as the orchestra and also ODT. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. For those of us that need an explanation of what we did with these motions, the subsidiary motion killed the main motion to change the smoking ordinance for approval of the ordinance without a direct vote on the main motion. Now, everybody got that? Anyway, we killed it. That's the main thing. So I spent time in Frankfurt last week. It was the last part of the session, trying to make sure that cities were taken care of, and I'm on the board of directors of Kentucky League of Cities, and we met with a whole bunch of people and trying to make sure that the annexation scenario didn't get out of hand, and that we were still able to do annexations with consent, so our economy can continue to grow. It was a pretty big issue, and there was a compromise in Senate Bill 360, I think it was, and because they had wanted to put a 5-year moratorium on annexations, which would probably kill most economic development west of Elizabethtown. So that was kind of fruitful, and took my main bean counter with me, and she enlightened the representatives and senators on our TIFs. She was spectacular. Angela. That's all I have. Okay, item 11, open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. This time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the commission. And what we'd like to do is, if there's a group of you that are all like-minded, kind of get you a representative to speak for the group, so we won't be here until we got to see the biscuit man in the morning. So I don't know who was first, so.
He could go first.
Yes, sir.
Being a preacher, 3 minutes is going to be quite a challenge.
Well, just pretend like we're all paying attention, just like church, all right?
Yeah, I see some are pretending maybe. Amen. My name is Terry Model, address 1731 McCulloch Avenue, Owensboro. I'm also pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church here in Owensboro. I spoke last month at the meeting in regards to the activity taking place in the Ghost Lounge at the River Park Center. And I'm speaking on behalf of the members of our congregation, and I'm sure anyone that is in this place tonight that is a Christian and concerned about the future of what we allow to continue within our city. Last month, I requested and will continue to request the discontinuation of any public funding that supports the River Park Center until they stop having shows that are of a perverted, ungodly, and immoral nature. I will be instrumental with encouraging the Christian community and those that are present here tonight to continue their outrage with the indecency of these programs and flooding the council city meetings with their support of seeing to it that Christians will take whatever legal action necessary to rid Owensboro of any and all future attempts to allow for perverted programs of any kind now and in the future. As adults, or as responsible adults, we must send a message to our young people that we strongly disapprove of the demonic activity that these type of shows, and I'm speaking of the drag queen shows that have been allowed to continue at the Ghostlight Lounge at the River Park Center. And I would encourage the folks that are here this evening to invite other Christians to the council meetings so that there would be standing room only until our message is made clear and until someone on the panel will kindly respond to it as to if there's any thing that has been done to address what I'm bringing to the podium tonight. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
On a slightly related subject.
Please state your name and address for the record.
George Wathen, 2202 South Stratford.
Thank you.
Tonight, I'm here to ask you to consider closing the Ghost Light Lounge. By the way, I think they should have named it the Gaslight Lounge, but it's a different subject. We have been told that the city is subsidizing the River Park Center $180,000 a year. It's very unfair that the bars in downtown Owensboro have to compete with a bar that is subsidized with city taxpayers' money. They must compete with a bar that does not pay rent and doesn't even have to make a profit in order to stay in business. It's also obvious that when the River Park Center loses money, then the subsidy from the city must go up. It is our understanding that the lounge is losing money, and this loss will raise the city's subsidy. I find it ironic that the River Park Board refuses to share the lounge's profit and loss statement with us or the public. We know that because of the lounge, some of the long-term donors have stopped donating. This will obviously cause the River Park Center to lose more money, which again will raise the taxpayers' subsidy. We have been told in the past 2 years 2 different potential renters were turned away. This was done so that the lounge can stay open in a free building and that is provided by the taxpayers. I wonder if it is to allow the director's daughter to keep her job. Either way, it certainly has an appearance of a classic case of nepotism. You and I both know that you can close the lounge. All you have to do is make one phone call. That's all it'll take. In fact, we have a precedent. I'll remind you that back not too long ago, the Owensboro Science Museum had agreed to take in and display the historic Confederate statue, but after one phone call from this commission, they decided not to take it. I was surprised when the Owensboro Times and the Messenger Inquirer chose to ignore the fact that last meeting you were given a petition of 1,600 plus names, and that the organization that gave it to you represented 47 different pastors and churches. But what really confuses me is that the members of this commission and the River Park Board also chose to ignore it. I'm almost done, but I want to mention a few things about the organization that gave you the petition. The name is the Davis County Citizens for Decency. We are not a single issue organization. However, right now, this is our main priority. We represent, as I said, 47 different churches in Owensboro. We were recently given a 501c tax exempt status, and we have money in the bank. Last and not least, because of the lack of action of this commission and the River Park Board, our numbers are growing. People are getting upset and are getting fired up. We have momentum. We're not going to go away. I can promise you that. One last statement.
Okay. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Darren Tapp. I reside on Highway 142 in Philpott. And I wanted to thank you guys today for the great job that you're doing on the Kentucky Motorsports Week that's coming up in June 2nd through the 10th. And also let the public know that I just did a deal with RPM Promotions and with the Davis County Fairgrounds, and we, in addition to everything that's going on in town, on Saturday, June the 10th, we're going to have a benefit flat track motorcycle race at the Davis County Fairgrounds. I just did the deal about 30 minutes ago and couldn't wait to get down here and let everybody know. So I would like to add that to the Motorsports Week that we're having. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. All the proceeds are going to go to the Nikki Hayden Memorial Foundation. And it's going to be a really fun, really cool thing to do. One other thing I want to hit on. Our 45th president, President Trump, as probably everyone in here is aware of, is going to be indicted, and he's supposed to surrender himself next week. Just heard that on the news. This could potentially, I feel like our federal government and certain people, call it whatever you want to, the deep state, the cabal, are trying to start a civil war in our country. Things could devolve very quickly, and I want to make sure that our city government and our county government are prepared for what's coming if this continues to escalate. The lawlessness of our government is completely out of hand. I'm very proud of our county government here and the stands that they have made to protect us and our Constitution, and I pray that our city government has the courage to do the same. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Neal.
Good afternoon. My name is Don Neal. I live at 313 Lynx Cove, Owensboro. I was born and raised in Owensboro, and it was my honor to serve this community for over 50 years as a pediatrician, trying to talk the parents of Owensboro into raising healthy children. And one of the admonitions, among other things, was not to smoke. The reason I mention that today is that we formed a group many years ago called Healthy Horizons, and Commissioner Smith-Wright and I served on that committee for that time, and it still is in existence, and it had one goal, and that is, it was and is, to make Owensboro the healthiest community in Kentucky. And we've not accomplished that goal yet. In fact, we were not the ones who were able to get the first non-smoking ordinance. It was a group of persistent high school students who went before the county commission and convinced them to have the first non-smoking ordinance. That was followed by a city ordinance, which we're very proud of. And I'm here today to ask you, if you would, to help us, because we need as many stakeholders as we can to be involved if we're going to become the healthiest city in Kentucky. And I would point out, in fact, this was the largest number of doctors in one room I've seen in 20 years. And my wife admonished me before I came that she has continued to say that when I die, she's going to put on my tombstone, "He's not dead, he's just gone to a meeting." So I am here asking for your help. We physicians can only influence, if you look at global health and all the things, the factors that affect health, we physicians only affect about 10% of health. Think about that. About 50% is determined by the genes that you're born with, and the other 40% is determined by where you live and how you live. So I'm here to ask the commission to help us, if you would, to accomplish our goal, and we will work very hard on our end, and we need you all to be involved to help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. I guess that'll almost be it.
Hello, DeMarcus Curry, live here in Owensboro, Kentucky. First, I just want to say thank you to Commissioner Castleman for coming to the Teen Job Fair. I truly appreciate your support and doing events that I'm involved. I just want to throw out there, of course, there's always opportunity for our young people to, be doing things as far as making a difference in our community. I do understand that the National Day of Prayer is coming up in the month of May. I know they have an event that they do at the courthouse, but I want to see if there is something that the city could bring back. I do remember many years ago there was an event where we had for the youth. I don't remember if it was at the Executive Inn or somewhere downtown. I would like to meet with individuals that would like to work with me to bring back some kind of event so we could put on for our youth for the National Day of Prayer. If anyone is interested, please get in touch with me. I will be meeting with some local pastors and church members as well to get something going, to get something started with that movement. Our community is definitely in need of prayer, and what better way for us to join together in prayer to not just a one-day event, but like an everyday event. So if anyone is interested, please get in touch with me so we can try to set something up for that day. Thank you.
Thank you, DeMarcus. Okay. All right, since I think that we're going to make a motion to adjourn, could I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we are adjourned.